This episode is brought to you by Jennifer Lee. Stephen!
Andrew!
Fancy spending a quiet night inside number 9?
Let's boil this baby.
Yes, let's boil this baby indeed. We're heading into the scripts. And as you might have guessed, by probably the title of this episode and by Stephen's little introduction there, it's Death Be Not Proud.
One was a bigger giveaway than the other.
Which one?
The title of the episode.
Okay, yeah.
A flick through the script. Death Be Not Proud, a flick through the scripts.
Yeah, but I suppose if people are sort of listening maybe to a bunch of podcasts and this just randomly comes on, then yeah. So we are, the flick through the scripts is basically our second go at particular episodes. So we did our...
You say it as though we need another try.
Give us another go. Sorry about the first one. We did the reaction episodes and then, we've got the script books and take a look at anything that sort of stands out to us as we read through the scripts and rewatch any sort of things that are different between the scripts and the final version and that kind of thing. And we also just get to talk about the episode again, which is quite exciting. And I was reminded of our previous conversation when you sort of expressed how much you don't like synchronized dance things.
They freak me out.
Yeah. So,
although 2 people I think is okay.
2's okay.
Two's okay. Two doesn't have kind of that brainwashed cult kind of feel to it.
What? How many?
Room full of people. I don't know. Maybe 5 plus. Because there's a difference between choreography.
I was going to say. I was thinking of like
people jumping in,
boy bands and girl bands.
Yeah, that's okay. I think that's okay. And, backup dancers, that's okay. Pans people, that's all right. I'll allow pans people on top of the pops.
That's okay, is it? Really?
Yeah, that's okay because that's choreographed behaviour. I don't think I like it, but it doesn't freak me out. It doesn't weird me out in the same way that 35 people at a wedding, DJ puts on the Macarena and suddenly
everyone gets excited.
Horde of zombies.
Yeah, it's the fact that it's not sort of, you don't need to, the DJ doesn't need to say, everybody come down and let me tell you what we're going to do. It's like, no, everyone gets up and straight into it.
Yeah. Straight into it. And there's this like muscle memory that kicks in that goes with that song.
I must do the Macarena.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. 2 people doing it. That's all right. That's just a bit of fun.
Quite. Yeah, that's true. What should we do? Should we just sort of jump into anything that we've noticed that is different?
There wasn't a huge amount of different. And things that were different weren't they didn't change they didn't sort of change things in the way that I feel like the referees one did last week when like certain changes were made just to tweak the referee's tone, just to kind of build that character a bit better. There was nothing that jumped out at me as that needed to happen for this reason.
Yeah. I suppose
right from the off. Or go on.
Well, we have a very established situation in that this is the Psychoville episode. And they've used Psychoville to, I think they talked about in the Insider's Guide, that they had the desire to do sort of a serial killer flat kind of one.
That was, I think, and then they thought, I think we know a guy that could help us out here.
Yeah.
And it was David.
And so I guess there's a real established characterization of David and Maureen.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. There were some sort of settings and things that were a little bit different. But I was the contrast between a block of flats in North London loom up against a darkening sky was the Extra-National Flats Day. That kind of it says it opens with, and what we actually got was some beautiful pink tree blossom outside of a block of flats.
Yes,
I would have put that in the script. They were lovely,
yeah,
and not looming.
yeah. I guess it didn't need setting up as a looming because
it's quite an optimistic tone at the start, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's an optimistic setup because Sam and BT have just bought a flat. They're moving in their first place. They've been able to afford it. Everything's great. Yeah. So, yeah, you don't need to establish that kind of dark horror-esque.
No.
I mean, I'd forgotten how horrific this episode is.
Oh God, it is. There's so much of it as well.
Yeah. The first thing I saw that was cut was Sam, when they're talking about having got the flat for a steal.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we got £250,000 flat at half the price. It's either this or your mother's box room, and I know where I'd rather be. That was taken out.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah, I made a note of that one as well. You kind of, when they cut lines out, you kind of have to go through this thought process of timing issue, just unnecessary, or is there a reason for it? If there were a reason for it, what would that reason be?
Yeah, exactly. It is that question, and I suppose in the context of the whole thing, the idea of the mother of BT's mother being a problem isn't a thing, is it? It's not like an ongoing.
Well, but also BT's mother being a problem is nothing compared to the actual mother problem that they encounter for the rest of this episode.
Which I suppose, yeah, actually leaving. That's actually a line that should be left in because you are in Maureen's box room. This is essentially Maureen's coffin. It is the box room of Maureen.
That's very true.
Well, her head, at least.
It's David Sowerbutt's mother's box room.
Yeah. That's a genius line.
Yeah.
Why have they cut that out?
Brilliant. Guys. God, that was a ham-fisted line cut, wasn't it? Should have thought that through. Guys, run it past us next time. We'll see you right.
Yeah. I do. I love the moment where the pin pushes out of the plaster and drops. It's like,
yes.
Yeah.
The pin just dropped.
The pin dropped.
I did notice the crack is in kind of the wrong place, isn't it, in the room? Because the direction here, like when dust falling on BT's face, the idea, I think, was to have the bed pushed up against the wall and the crack directly above.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. It's on the other side of the room. And actually, it wouldn't make sense for the poster to hit the floor and shatter if BT's bed was directly underneath it, because it would have fallen on there. Or on her head instead.
On her head, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I made a note of that. It's difficult for dust to fall on her head from that distance.
That's been sort of blown across the room.
Yeah, and I think there is the sounds and the things like that make it more eerie in some ways. And like the fact she's woken up at that time, and it's like, oh, what's that?
That's such an incredibly creepy little set piece, that, with the blender going off and the
vacuum cleaner on the table,
vacuum back on the table. Yeah, and then the Tina Turner eyes rolling around the place.
Yeah, and I was remembering because I hadn't seen Psychoville the first time I watched this, and so it was kind of,
you had no reference point for that.
No,
me neither.
And that, I think that really helps in terms of, because again, and Matt Lipsey, who directed Psychoville and then directed this, like, was saying that, you know, the importance of creating an episode of Inside Number 9 that works on its own, but also is thoroughly in Psychoville world and would be pleasing and satisfying to Psychoville fans. And yeah, having watched it without having watched Psychoville, I can definitely say it was an enjoyable episode.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Regardless of not having that sort of insider knowledge of the characters and the callbacks and the references and stuff.
I think they mention in the book that they see Inside Number 9 up until this point as being very restrained, and that it's always been there's a certain version of Reese and Steve that you don't get in Inside Number 9 really in general that you do in Psychoville and the League.
Yeah,
where things are just far more unhinged. There
it's
aren't
like, how
really,
far can we take this?
Yeah, there aren't unhinged episodes of Inside Number 9 really. Whereas here, that crossover gave them a bit more license to have a bit more of an out there episode. But it's not like it didn't fit in because it's still inside this flat. It still kind of makes sense. And it did strike me, actually, and thinking about it now, this isn't really an episode about Beatty and Sam at all in any way whatsoever. No. This is all of this is flashbacks about David and Maureen and David's life and what went on with his partner and things like that. It's all that.
It is basically...
Sam are kind of incidental.
Exactly. It's kind of Psychoville Series 3 condensed into a single sort of, it's almost like a tribute or a honouring of what might have been. And you're right, it's about them. And I'd forgotten like the aspects of this episode that I had in my mind put into Psychoville itself. So going back and watching this episode again, I was like, oh, that wasn't in Psychoville.
Oh, that was that
was in this. Yeah, like even get that baby boiled. Like
Oh, really? You'd remember that as a Psychoville one?
I think because it all exists in the same place. I don't delineate between the two. Weirdly, like as I remember them.
This is just your David and Maureen. Canonical stuff.
Yeah, and it's fascinating when you go and because there's David's YouTube channel and things, and it's a wider universe than
the David Sauerbert's cinematic universe.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is that what this is?
Yes.
We're just living in it.
The next bit that I had cut was an okay by Beatty after Sam kind of gave a bit of a condescending, patronizing.
Yeah, I said his okay was far more sarcastic in the filmed version than it kind of came across. In the script, it comes across as he's sort of trying to comfort her and say, okay, so it's all right. If it's that bad, we can go. It's not a problem. But this very much came across as, you're talking nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah. When he's like, well, listen, we've done what we can. I'm tired. I'm going for a shower. And don't worry, if blood starts coming out of it, I promise you will move. Okay. And her okay is cut. There's an okay in the script there.
I would hope that if blood did start pouring out of it, they would move.
Yeah. And I think her response being, because an okay is like, okay, that makes me feel better. It's like, I'm not dignifying that with a response because I am completely freaked out by this thing and there should be no circumstances under which we do not move out of this place away.
Yeah. We're here now.
Yes.
When it moves to her having her dinner, I do like her little plate. We don't see the crack in the next scene. And especially as he's now talking about it's been covered by a large film poster. The Shawshank Redemption ? Is what's in the script.
Yeah, they couldn't get the rights.
I like the idea of that as hiding a crack in the wall because it's kind of that's what that film is, really, isn't it?
Well, yes, and they've swapped it out for a Rita Hayworth poster, which the Stephen King novella is called Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption because it is, I think, a Rita Hayworth poster in Andy Dufresne's cell.
Oh, is it?
So they managed to get that reference.
Whilst not being able to go full Shawshank.
Yeah, there was something about them not being able to get the rights to put the poster there, I think.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I think that's better, really.
Better.
Yeah.
Better, if anything.
If anything. Don't worry, guys.
Well then, guys, we'll let the mum's box room line slide. This was better this time.
Yeah, and there's a cut of BT saying, "Hello, is someone there?" We don't get that sort of horror moment of. It's like, I think someone's just knocked at the door, haven't they?
I love this reveal.
Yeah,
especially as it's. I love this. In the script book, standing on the threshold is David Sowerbutts, a big bespectacled simpleton. The fact that it needs to be in there, Sowerbutts would have done, surely. They know who he is. Yeah. Everyone knows who he is. if they've seen Psycho Bill, which I'm sure most of the people working on this would have done. Hello, I'm David Sowerbutts. I used to live here. We could spend ages talking about the character of David Sowerbutts and just the things he comes out with. And
just one of the greatest. One of the greatest and grimmest characters. And it's funny, like, he's one that I really forget that it's Steve Pemberton playing him. Like, he is his own.
He is. He's his own thing.
He is his own thing. And yeah, it's genius acting, even in its, like, obviously caricatured quality. And it's clearly
it's just
character.
Lines like the, do you have a wagon wheel?
Yeah.
I just like them.
I just like them. Don't worry, I just like them.
It's worth a try. You might have said yes.
I love it. Yeah, and then we sort of meet David a bit.
Oh, for all of Inside Number 9's unsettling scenes, the toilet scene with David and Maureen is one of the most unsettling things that I think they've ever put to film.
I put a little
so
smiley face next to the directions there. Yeah, David stands at the toilet. Maureen is holding his willy as he does a long, explosive wee. Maureen is patient. The wee comes to an end. Is that all of it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and the shake. Oh, yeah, the whole.
Maureen starts to shake David's willy. This goes on for too long.
I think it's dry now. I know.
I know it is. Oh. Maureen keeps on shaking.
And also, to be fair, Reese as Maureen, I don't think of Maureen being Reese.
No, that's true. She's her own thing as well.
She's
entirely.
Her own thing.
With her Bon Tempi.
The Bon Tempi. Yeah. Yeah. And then I hadn't quite realized the number of references to, like, Superman.
Okay. Go on.
So there's this, Maureen is hitting the same note over and over again in the steady rhythm, a la Laurie Anderson's Oh Superman.
Ah.
And Maureen is singing Oh Superman.
So and then obviously we down a bit of a Laurie Anderson rabbit hole.
Yeah, well, it was a weird thing because I'd not come across Laurie Anderson before, and I went to see Public Service Broadcasting a few weeks ago, and their new album is about Amelia Earhart, and like a concept album, basically, sort of about her. I think it's called The Last Flight, is it? And then I was reading a review of it, and they referenced the fact that Laurie Anderson has also released an album based on Amelia Earhart this year. And so I was like, oh, I wonder what that's like. And so I went and had a listen, and then started doing some digging around because I found it fascinating. It's a really interesting album. And then, came across Oh Superman as this. People are probably listening like, yeah, you're not heard of that. No, I hadn't.
What idiot.
And apparently
Uncultured
it was linked to Dennis Nielsen, the infamous serial killer who is referenced in this as well. It was like his favourite song. I think he used to listen to it as he was getting ready to do some bad murders.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I don't know how.
How do they? That's mad.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
Niche.
Really niche. Quiche.
Oh yeah. Another thing I've realised, I was telling Steve before we started recording, was I read the words "quite niche," which is in the Insider's Guide, referring firstly to the football episode as quite niche, and then this is quite niche, and all I read was quiche, and so I'd quite like to get that started.
I might start using it the other way, and just enjoying a nice quite niche Lorraine.
Quite niche Lorraine. Well, I think quiche is quite niche.
Cheese and bacon, quite niche. Yeah, it is quite niche.
Yeah,
it's not an everyday food, is it? A hot quiche for dinner doesn't strike me as
never think about having it
thing
for a meal. Like
hot. It's like part of a picnic.
It's something I rarely would buy.
It's like something that would be out when you're just having kind of one of those sort of picky meals in summer.
Or like a funeral buffet or something.
Or a funeral buffet. Yeah, that's a very different. It could be the same.
But yeah, I could have a funeral buffet in the summer outside.
Will work well.
Or a picnic inside in a
crematorium.
The buffet doesn't tend to happen at the crematorium.
No, does it not? No, it's not the best place for it.
No. Yeah, so that's your Superman link.
Wow. But she loves all Supermans.
Well, I suppose there's the sort of the Friedrich Nietzsche element of Superman as well, isn't there? And the serial killers probably famously like to read Nietzsche.
Yes, that would make sense.
Yeah.
You've kind of got to be a bit of a nihilist if you go around doing bad murders.
Yeah. I made a note of when they're talking about Maureen having court cancer. There was just something about that phrase that was just really made me like,
oh, poor David.
Yeah. One day I found out she'd caught cancer.
And then he starts developing his relationship.
Yeah. So it's lovely to see the return of Emily.
Yes.
Who, Sarah Soleimani,
mm-hmm.
apparently she lives in America, paid for her own flight to come over to be in this episode.
Really?
Yeah.
And they didn't insist that they covered it.
Well,
I didn't need to offer more than once.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
We were like, okay, fine. We were going to, no, it's fine.
No, please, Sarah, we'll definitely pay.
I think I read that right. I was sort of skim reading through the Insider's Guide. There was something about that in there.
That in itself is quite a quiche. Is a quiche book, isn't it?
It's a quiche book. Yeah.
Yeah. They took out a line when they were when David was kind of talking to Beatty about her moving in. He got rid of, she worked from home as a childminder and I got a job scaring people at the London dungeon. They said I was a natural. I quite like us being sort of filled in David's other employment.
Yeah, some of the sort of background stuff.
Scaring people at London dungeon. But not jumping out at people, I don't imagine at all. I imagine just talking to them.
Yeah, probably.
And with his in-depth knowledge of serial killers and Jack the Ripper, horrendous.
Exactly.
Please leave us alone. Please leave us alone.
Yeah, I can imagine him like listening to people talking about things and then him with his back to them.
Looming over them, yeah.
And then turning around and be like, well, actually. And then sort of giving the full
Saucy Jack.
saucy Jack. He's a naughty one.
He's a naughty. Oh, imagine if David Salberts had managed to get hold of a copy of Spinal Tap's concept art album about Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was just a musical, wasn't it? It was a musical based on the life of Jack the Ripper. Saucy Jack.
He's a haughty one. Saucy Jack.
Oh,
yeah.
We didn't get to hear about his desire for a tuna and Haribo pizza.
Oh yeah, what was that?
That was just after the exchange about London Dungeon. A little bit further along, they were talking about what do you want on your pizza tonight? Tuna and Haribo, sweet and sour. See you in a bit.
Mm.
I wouldn't regard tuna as sour.
Tuna and oh yeah, there we go. Yeah.
All of the stuff about David and his mum's food is grim. When she's talking about her recipes and stuff,
there's a whole level of bleakness to that entire, like what was it? Spaghetti hoops, carbonara, spaghetti hoops in salad cream with a bag of frazzles mixed in. It's like, oh. And then the New York cheesecake.
Yeah.
Dairy Lee triangle on a digestive.
And that was going to be him looking after himself.
Is this before him having his haircut?
Yes. Oh, yeah, because she's talking about him looking after himself and being able to cope when she's gone. Because he was going to pass on her. Oh, yeah, because he puts the potato in the microwave and just looks at it, and it's just horrible. And then he takes it out and nothing's happened to it. He bites into a raw potato and sticks it back in again for another 5 minutes of nothing.
Which that doesn't happen. Does that happen in the actual show?
Yes.
Does he put it back in?
I think so.
I thought it got cut.
Or did he just? Or does it just move on?
I think it.
Oh yeah, he puts it back in and closes the door again. Without mum, things were harder than I thought. Sitting with the colander on his head, trying to cut his own hair, but only succeeds in cutting himself.
Yeah. Just zipping back. There was something else cut after the tuna and Haribo bit.
Yeah, it was the she's a whore note.
Yeah.
David noticed a piece of paper sticking out from beneath the doormat. He picks it up and unfolds it. It's a note written in lipstick. She's a whore. That went, and all he heard the Bon Tempi playing in the lounge.
Mm-hmm.
I went into the living room, and that's where we meet Ghost Maureen the first time, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, I suppose, does she doesn't write anything down, does she? If that's cut. You don't see any...
Oh, no, she doesn't.
It's
but
just...
we do see her moving things around, like the drawer and stuff. I guess that's a kind of a different ghost skill to find motor skills. Move.
I mean, she's playing the Bon Tempi organ as well.
That is true. That's fine motor skills.
Yeah. But there's
I don't know how ghosts work. I
don't know. Yeah, but writing in lipstick and then putting it somewhere.
But yeah, it reminds me a bit of in Ghosts, where the
Julian on
guy
the
can only move, like he can. It takes a lot of effort to like press computer keys and things, but he's the only one who can do it.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. I do like Ghosts.
Harmless fun.
Unlike this. So this remains pretty true to script. Past this point.
As we meet Robin again.
Yes.
Lovely to see a return of him.
Man alive. Or not Wobbin. Sally Ann. Sally Ann Twycand. Sally Ann go poo-poos. Oh, God. It's so unsettling.
Yeah.
Not as unsettling as the toilet scene, but still up there.
It's up there, yeah. And this was apparently they had, this idea in I don't know if it was Steve's notebook or whatever, just kept on seeing it as like adult babies. You know,
something he had on his mind. That
well, this is. I think he'd come across the fact that this does happen.
This is the thing,
and yeah, we need to reference this. It's a much
quite the thing, isn't
simpler,
it?
It takes me back to a simpler time. Does it?
Just watch some cartoons or something. I don't know.
Yeah, much cheaper than a gym was cut.
Oh, was it?
Hmm.
As though it needed. Yeah, maybe that would have been too much of a justification.
Yeah, and you know, it sort of leaves up in the air. You know, how much is Emily getting paid?
Yes, I did also enjoy a very simple. You can take that with you. David points to a small baby bath filled with soapy water. David, don't throw the babies out with the bath water, please.
Yes.
Stupid, but
a nice low-hanging fruit.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I made a note of the fact that we kind of then carry on with.
We do get the you're a whore line here.
Yes, he reacts really badly, and yeah, there's kind of then him trying to get her to stay, and them agreeing to have a baby. But I say but then we get the reveal about Maureen, and the fact that Maureen, when he says need to get rid of your mother, she means literally.
Yeah.
She's been lying in the bath. Like Psycho. She's here. Mrs. Bates is lying in the bath.
Yeah. That's a great little twisty turn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Because it's made out that we need to get rid of the story, whatever you're making up in your head about her.
Yeah.
No, literally. And then we see the kitchen tables loaded with boxes and containers, including a large thermos. Oh, the BT's quite shocked by this sudden revelation. Yeah, when my mum died, I kept her body on ice in the bathtub. I thought one day I could bring her back to life, but they haven't invented it yet. The ice melted and she went a bit off. Oh God.
Yeah. I forgot to say. Yeah.
I forgot to say. And so they're loading her into whatever they can find in the kitchen and taking her down to the recycling centre. We split her between garden waste, general rubbish, and metal on account of her hip.
Is it that simple to dispose of a body?
I don't think so.
No.
I think there'd be questions.
I think so.
They're quite hot on that kind of stuff, I think.
I think they are. I do think they check somehow.
Check for bodies.
Check for bodies.
And then we've got life with the baby John.
Yeah.
Where he's reading a Jack the Ripper book to him as his bedtime story. I do wonder how that child grows up. So yeah, we get to see Mr. Jelly again.
Booked the wrong one again.
The wrong one again. That character. Oh, fucking hell, I've stabbed it. That's another one.
Yeah.
Stabbing rabbits in hats with a hook hand. Anyway, do you like balloon animals? What's his favourite animal? Monkey. No, fuck that. You can have sausage dog, snake, or giraffe. Snake, please, Mr. Jolly. Jelly!
Yes. Snake.
And then
that's the easiest
snake. I'll have snake. Definitely. I wouldn't complain. I wouldn't be going, Mr. Jelly. I go, thank God for that.
Yeah, he can do that.
Much easier. So yeah, now cooking.
David making his mother's carbonara.
Well, it says that, but he's chopping veg. Now, David's mother's carbonara would not have required any chopping of veg
I did
at all.
do
I
a
think
big
he's branched.
carrots next
I
to.
think his culinary expertise has moved beyond that of his mother at this point. I think
A caratanara.
carbonara. Yeah,
Quiche.
he's actually chopping veg.
Yeah.
And then we get this awful scene where she's trying to get him to boil the baby. You're going to need more salt than that, David.
This is quite bleak.
It really is. Just interspersed with lines like, but we recycled you. We laid you to rest.
Not quite. You kept the mother's head.
You did an Edmund Kemper.
Box room.
Yeah. She doesn't offer him the chance to join her. It says in the script, which says, Maureen picks up a knife from the side and offers it to David. Join me. What? She just says, kill yourself.
Yes.
Cut your wrist now, and in 10 minutes I'll have you chatting away with Jack the Ripper. Identity known. Go on, imagine that as a as a carrot. If you kill yourself now, you know who Jack the Ripper really was.
It's a big carrot.
It is for
David.
For David.
And
she
the fact that you know that Maureen is dead, and you know there's a pretty much a guarantee that you will get that because you are conversing with a ghost. If you don't question whether that is indeed in your head only.
But if you believe that that's going on, you probably believe what the ghost in your head is saying to you about meeting Jack the Ripper.
That's true. Yeah. And then we see the dangling of the baby, which I was quite pleased to see them describe that in the Insider's Guide as well, as the mother of that baby was within eye line of the baby the whole time.
Oh God.
And the pot was just, they had bubbles blowing through it from below, and the water was cold. So it wasn't really boiling water. She was like, I find that weirdly comforting. Thank you.
Oh, great.
But I do also find the fact that, oh no, it is a real baby being dangled above pretend special effects pot on the stove.
Yeah, special effects. Pretending it's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember watching this. My daughter was not very old at this point. She was, how old was she? She must have been, 6 months old. And I was probably watching it with her sat on me, which is, I remember that being quite unsettling.
Should I?
Should I?
Should I, Maureen? Are you sure? Stephen, get that baby boiled.
My mum's not even dead, and she was just stood there going, get that baby boiled, Steve.
Boil that baby.
It was Mum. She came back. She made me do it. Why? So, in this whole situation, Beatty started off terrified of what was going on in the flat.
Yep.
She lets David in, but over the course of the last 20 minutes or so, Beatty has been finding out all about Maureen. And without any time away from David, suddenly Maureen's managed to get in her ear and tell her to stab him. When?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, because I suppose when you're watching it, the thought might be she's afraid of him, which is why she's like, I need to get him out of my house, and she's like, I'm going to stab him. But she's also in a trance, isn't she? She's been possessed in some way by Maureen.
From the head. The head in the wall.
She has a way of getting into people's minds.
She does.
I mean, she almost got that baby boiled. She would have got that baby boiled had Emily not returned.
Emily not appeared. So if Sam had walked in, that might have broken it. If he walked in a little bit earlier.
Yeah, might have done.
but now she's fully stabby.
Yeah.
Is the only way I can put
It's
it.
very stabby. Stabs David, stabs Sam,
But then she keeps him in the bathroom.
keeps him in the bath.
And now she just lives with David and Maureen's ghosts.
Yeah, and where's
'Cause
Sam's
ultimately-
ghost?
I don't know. Oh, well, maybe not everyone passes over. Maybe only serial killers.
Maybe.
Although there were more people in hell that I think Maureen had talked about seeing, not just all the serial killers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beatty puts on the radio and leaves the flat. Stay on the radio as it begins to play Superman by Black Lace. We pull out to find the ghostly figures of David and Maureen doing the dance that accompanies the song. Maureen smiles. She's got David back. No more Emily. No more. He's alive, having moved somewhere else. She's got him back. They can just dance to Superman for all eternity.
Beautifully psycho-esque mother and
Yes.
son
Together forever.
together forever. Happy ever after. Ugh. Yeah. It's good. It was nice revisiting this one in a way.
In a way.
It was fun. Yeah, it is one that I haven't actually watched many times. I think I watched it a couple of times when we did our original episode.
I guess you feel like you've watched it more because you've got it now completely wrapped up with Psychoville. So
yeah, it's all there.
Psychoville.
But my memory of Psychoville is weird and hazy. So
yeah, patchy at best.
Patchy at best. Yeah, good excuse to go and revisit it.
I like this line in the Insider's Guide. The boys are particularly good at creating macabre characters you can still somehow enjoy.
And
true, they are
really sort
dreadful.
of sympathetic, like the death scene that they recreated for this episode, which was in Psychoville. And because I think they were talking about, they were just going to sort of show the original footage, but they shot it from a different angle.
That's a certain level of care.
Yeah. And I think they really wanted to reshoot it. But like in that, it's not just comic, it's not just absurd. There's a real level of sort of emotion and sympathy to that scene. That it is incredible how they do that. And the John did.
Yes, John did. David, John did.
Classic line.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I don't have anything more to add, I don't think, about that.
No. And next episode, I'm not going to say next week's, next episode is a real different one. Which I really enjoyed when I first saw it. And again, just seeing this now, I'm amazed that Love's Great Adventure is a Guillermo Morales episode. That's mad.
That is mad. Yeah.
What a guy. What a talented man he is. Oh, and then we've got Misdirection after that as well, which is another Guillermo.
Yeah. Which is more Guillermo. More that you think
what a series this is.
That's Guillermo.
Oh, but it's got thinking out loud. Yeah.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that and then finish the stakeout.
We'll get to that.
Cracking.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to this great series.
It is a great series.
Yes. And if you have anything to add to what we have talked about, or if you want to correct us on anything, then
keep it to yourself.
Keep it to yourself. I just wanted to say, I'll give a shout out to Alison, who sent us a nice email. Who, yes, Series 9 has just landed in BritBox in the US. So been patiently waiting to listen to the podcast episodes. I'm glad you waited.
Well, they have had to wait a while, haven't they?
It's a long time. Yeah.
Mm.
Yes. Thank you for getting in touch. And so, yeah, if you want to send us an email, please do. A Quiet Night Inside 09@gmail.com or Twitter, but
no, it's gone.
It's gone.
I actually deleted it from my phone.
That's all we had.
The morning after the election, I deleted it from my phone.
30 plus notifications on it. I was like, oh, that's too many. I'm not gonna.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm over in the other place now. Shall I start one over on the other place?
I think we should. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll do that.
Which other place? Blue Sky.
Blue Sky.
Yeah. Everyone's
the nicer place. Everyone's.
It was funny the other day. I had an influx of like people following me. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I had Blue Sky.
What concerns me is that if two people come over, everything that makes it currently better will be ruined.
Two people.
Too many people. Just two people, a couple of people. Oh my, this is horrendous. I can't cope with this.
You've doubled the numbers. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's people when people have too higher expectations that they will have something delivered to them rather than they need to contribute to the culture of something.
Yes.
That's when you start to have problems. And then when everything is just about this being better than the other place, it gets really tedious. So
yes,
my advice is,
that was what
if you join join a new platform, don't talk about the platform, just post stuff. What do you like? Post it.
Done. It exists.
Okay, we have a Blue Sky account. What's the handle for that?
Take a wild guess, mate. aqnin9.bsky.social, although just search aqnin9 on Blue Sky and you will find us there. I need to give us a face, so which I will do in due course. Blue Sky
@aqnin9.
Yes.
And if you fancy supporting the show financially, then we are very grateful to everyone who drops us a few quid on our PayPal link, which I'll put in the show notes as always. Yeah. Great. Well, we will be back sometime soon. I would love to commit to doing this weekly. It would make my life more consistent.
Less chaotic.
Yeah.
I've got to be somewhere on this point in the week to record.
Exactly. I know where I am once a week. It's nice. Yeah. All right. Well, until next time, have a good time all the time. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.